Hey guys, and welcome to Section 5, Module 5 of the Photoshop Freelance Bootcamp. We'll be going over the tools in detail of Photoshop. So let's open up Photoshop. Within your Photoshop's assets, you're going to open up the file that I have given you guys called Tools Explained. Okay, so keep in mind, guys, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And the reason I'm putting this together is because this could be super intimidating, right? Looking at all these tools here can be super intimidating. But I probably use half of these tools. So that's what I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to give you guys the exact tools that I use, and I'm going to skip over the ones that I don't, because I don't necessarily need those to build up a graphic. Some of the tools are there. They're more advanced tools, but I kind of find my way of doing things with less tools. So let's begin with the Move tool. This is one of the most used tools in my arsenal here. First thing we're going to do is open up one of our files. It's in the tools. And let's open up this vector logo here. Okay. Once again, we're going to select all. We're going to copy. I'm going to close this and we'll paste it. By this time, you guys have already gone through the previous modules and understand selecting all, cutting and pasting. You guys should definitely keep practicing your keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so Move tool. Click on the layer or hold Control to get that layer. Move tool, very simple. It does what it says it does. If you're unsure what the tool name is, all you have to do is click over, mouse over the actual tool, and it'll give you not only a keyboard shortcut, which is Move tool will be V, and the marquee tool will be M. So if I press M, right, and V, you see that it changes automatically. That's another thing that you guys should get into, is getting into the habit of those keyboard shortcuts, because it helps you move a lot faster. You'll be more productive, and it just makes your life a lot easier. So the Move tool, okay? Does what it says. Okay, let's open up another image so I can show you. We'll open up the Gander logo. We'll paste it. You guys should know this by now. Practice. I want you guys to practice keyboard shortcuts. Once again, this is the Move tool. Hold down click, hold down Control and click on it, and you can toggle between the layers. You see this go up and down. Click here and click here. That's by holding Control or the Apple key on Mac. Perfect. So let's shut these layers off. And we'll go to the next tool, which is the Marquee tool. Okay. Within this tools palette, you'll see a little arrow here. That means there's a drop-down menu. So if I click on it, we have other tools within that main tool, which is rectangle tool and elliptical. Those are two that I use the most. Okay. If I want to create a rectangle or a square, I could do so. Remember to create a new layer, name it rectangle. Okay. And we're going to color it. This is the paint bucket tool. Okay. Easy to change the colors. Just click on the foreground color, double click, and there you could toggle through colors on the spectrum. This is red, yellow, or you can go into your swatches. Very easy. So every time I click on a swatch, you see that it changes that sample color. So let's color that, maybe that crazy teal color. And when we have the paint bucket tool, we go inside and click on it. Okay, so you have your selection here. It's still selected, so you want to deselect it. Okay, deselect is under select and deselect. Get into the habit of your keyboard shortcut, which is Control D or Apple D on Mac. Refer to your keyboard shortcuts. So now that tool, we created that to create squares, okay, rectangles, thin lines. You want to create borders. You want to create a frame. You can do that all with the marquee tool, okay? And we'll create some more. We'll create a border here, okay? Color it black. Black border, right? Control S, save. Get in the habit, okay? Maybe another border here. So you just literally click and drag, okay? You could resize it afterwards. So put side border, black border, all right? And we'll color that. Oops, sorry. And then we'll color that, let's say, grab another swatch color, we'll do the green. Deselect, Control D. So we got that, okay? You wanna move it, move it. Hold Control, click over whatever you need, or Apple, you can move, manipulate whatever you want. Those are those two tools, okay? Drop down menu, circles, ovals, ellipses, whatever you want. Same thing. Paint bucket tool, either swatch or your custom color, either or. Gray is right here. Stick to the edge. Your pure black is on the corner. Pure white is here. Toggle between colors. Let's get a nice purple. This is your color sampler. It'll show you the new color and the current color. It's good when you're basically doing like complement colors. So you can see the complement contrast between the old colors. So we want to press OK, color that in. Sorry, create a new layer. And we do a purple, oval. Okay, look at that. Move tool, move it around. Always remember to create a new layer when you're creating something, a new object. Okay, so rectangle tool, elliptical tool. To make a perfect circle, easy, very easy. All you have to do is click and drag and hold down the shift key. If I let go of the shift key, look what happens. See, I'm holding it down, perfect circle. If I let it go, not perfect. So we're gonna hold it down, right? You have your selection there. Create your new layer. We'll call it orange circle. We'll go to the paint bucket, change it to orange, or maybe we have something here already that we like. On the swatches, let me color it. Boom. Remember to deselect always. When you see those, we call that dancing ants. selection, Control D, or remember, if you're just learning, obviously, deselect, Control D. Learn your keyboard shortcuts, please. Very important. Moving on. Let's shut these all off. Okay. Moving on. One of my favorite tools, the polygon lasso tool. Yes. So now we're going to start cutting some stuff out. Okay. I'll show you exactly what it is, but later on in another module, I'll show you exactly how to cut stuff out. So let's open up some of the stuff that I gave you guys, and we're gonna import two files. We're gonna import mountains. I think it's already imported. Actually, it's already imported. So now we're gonna import, we're gonna open, I'm gonna import orca jumping. Okay, open that up. Okay, so now we have two separate files here, but we only want orca. Okay, so the way we do it is easy. Okay, we just click. Every time you click, okay, and you complete the circle, you see you can make a selection. If you messed up, deselect. Okay. If you want to go in deeper and actually get a real nice cut, remember, hold down. You could actually drag this or hold down the space bar to move it around. Okay. We're on our polygon tool. So every time you start a point, you see that? It's waiting for the next point. So then you click again, and you're going to complete that entire cycle all the way around. As you can see, this is it right here. You want to complete everything all the way around. You got to hold down the bar if you need to, space bar, so you can move it around before you make your next click. So I'm going to just make a rough selection here. Clicking. You can go closer if you want. Okay. And I kind of cut this area on purpose, messed up on purpose, so then we can go back and I'll show you how we can cut other areas out. So when you're going to complete the entire selection, you see the little circle icon right next to the tool. See? Now it's selected. Hold down the space bar. Okay. I want to copy this and I want to bring it to this area, right? I want to bring that over here. How do I do that? Well, I selected whatever's inside these dancing ants, the selection is what I'm able to copy. Okay, we bring it out, as you can see. We don't want nothing else. We just want to copy him to put it on the next image. So we could grab components of anything we want with this tool. This is the tool that we use to cut things out. If we have a flat file, somebody says, can you cut me out of this picture? Can you get this car out of this picture? Can you take this house and put it here? Whatever the case may be. In this case, you just want this orca and put it in something else. So we have it selected. So now what we're going to do is copy it. Control C, copy. We can close this down and edit, paste. Right? Boom, we got it. So let's name her orca. Okay. Now what I like to do is keep the original. Always like to have myself an original, because what if I cut this out and then I mess up and I'm like, oops. Yeah, I could revert to it, but then if I made a bunch of changes, forget it. So what I like to do is make a copy of it. I'll just drag it into the new layers and make a copy. See, orca copy. Just keep it and I turn it off, just in case. Okay. So back to your move tool. Okay. We're on a different layer here. We'll hold down. We'll go to orca, or we can hold down Control or Apple, remember, manipulate. And we're going to transform. Control T or Apple T. Hold down the Shift key. I'm going to make this smaller. And we're going to turn on that layer of the background. Okay, as you can see, and then we'll kind of like move her around to where I really want. Maybe right there. Make it a little bit smaller. Boom. So that's your lasso tool. I'm sorry, that's your polygon lasso tool. This is what I always use. There's another one here, lasso tool, but I never really use it. A lot of people use it in advanced stuff, cutting out hair and stuff like that, but I don't use it. I never had a means to use it. In all my years, I just use this. It just works for me, okay? So like, let's say we want to get into detail and cut out a little bit more. I'll show you how to do that. So we'll zoom in. I'll bring this frame over here. We could go really, really close. Okay, look at that. Really, really close. Let's say we just want to cut out this little bit here. We start here at the edge, and we start clicking. Once again, practice, guys, practice. I want you guys to make copies of each one of these layers and keep practicing. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. We're selecting that little layer there, and we press delete. See that? Undo, Control Z or Apple Z, or you go to history. Okay, delete. Deselect, Control D, or select, deselect. Let's do another section. I want to get that out. Maybe get the flipper or the fin, whatever you call it, flipper. And we'll get some of this area here. Okay, all the way around to the end. See that? Delete. That's how you cut out images. Pretty simple, pretty simple. Let's save it, Control S or Apple S or File, save. Always save, always save. Get into the habit of saving. Okay. Next tool, the magic wand. Yes. So let's turn off all the layers. Let's keep the mountain layer. I'm gonna name it mountain. I'm sorry. Let's put lake. Okay. And then the 3D layer will be right here. I'm gonna name these. So these will be named before, you know, we start manipulating stuff. So let's open this up. Okay, zoom out. So I can show you guys what this magic wand tool does. This is just another tool that I use. We'll go to the move tool, we'll move this to the middle. And as you can see, in the middle, we've got this white here. The magic wand tool usually works with white areas, okay? What it does is it automatically grabs an area that's pretty much the same color, okay? So you can delete that, and you see, you'll be able to see through. Now let's grab something off the internet. Okay, let's say we're gonna grab, for this we will say, we'll grab a bird, a seagull. I'll show you how I search for that. Okay, seagull. Okay, go to images. Okay, this is perfect. This picture is perfect, right? So we click on it, right click, copy the image. And drag this over, click on our canvas, okay? And now we're just gonna paste that. You guys should know it's Control V. So Control V, boom. Now this is where the magic tool does its magic. Okay, sometimes it'll grab more, and there's tolerances in between this. Sometimes you have to mess with the tolerances to see what it'll grab. I'm gonna click here. As you can see, it's trying to grab all the blue. Okay, it didn't grab it all. So if you want to grab more of it, you hold down Shift. And as you can see, it'll do its best rendition of grabbing whichever's on the outside. okay? Once again, let's do that one more time. Let's deselect, Control D, right? Now, if I click here, you see some of these areas are not grabbed. Control D. We could play with this. We can maybe turn this into 30. I usually leave it at 15. See, now it's grabbing more, but it grabs some of the bird. So we want to go to 20. Deselect. Okay, you see it's still grabbing some of the bird, so that's why I leave it on 15. So then I could just do it myself and hold down the Shift key and click on certain areas. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. If this doesn't work, guys, go back and cut it out. But this is just an easy way to cut out some certain stuff that you find on the internet, or if somebody gives you some type of photo with, I'm sure, a green screen, perfect to cut out green screens, perfect to cut out photos with white backgrounds, okay? But when in doubt, cut it out. So we're gonna delete. Now you see this, let's deselect it, Control D. Now we have a little bit of that edge. I'll show you guys how to delete that. We'll go back to the marquee tool, right? And we'll literally click and drag and just press delete on these. So we can clean up those sections. Delete. Delete. There's a little bit here. Delete. Same thing down here. Marquee. Click and drag across. Delete. Okay. We'll deselect. Move tool. Now we have our seagull. Okay. Still, you see some remnants back there that we want to get rid of, right? So let's zoom in. See that? You can see a lot of imperfections. Okay. Once again, we'll go back to my polygon lasso tool, and we can actually get closer. Do the same thing we did to the whale, just to clean things up. And always kind of get that little edge, and we want to get the outside. So, and we'll close the loop, press delete. Look how clean that looks. Look at that, beautiful. Keep in mind right here, even here is supposed to be transparent, this little area. So we do the same in here. This is what makes it look real. You know, little steps and details that you take. It doesn't take too much time. And let's just hold down space bar. We'll look through. We got some stuff hanging out over here. We want to take out. Just clean that up. Deselect. Okay. And we got a couple of little furries, I call them. I take those out. And once you practice, man, it's all about practice, detail. There's no right or wrong. Okay? You could go back to your history tool and you could see before and after stuff. See this? Go back. Okay, here we go. Nice and clean. This edge is all beat up right here. So once again, we'll go to the navigation tool. We'll kind of fix that edge. Okay, it's all beat up. So we'll start from down here. We'll kind of cut it straight. Doesn't have to be, you know, it's just to show you guys how I can clean stuff up here. So it looks nice and clean. See that? Seagull. Name it. Beautiful. So, magic wand tool. Let's do one more real quick. Let's get a blimp. Oh, blimp. Sorry. Spell that. Oh, this is perfect cutout right here. Even this Goodyear blimp is fine. Okay. We'll copy it. paste it. Huge file. Sometimes it's huge. So we'll come all the way out. What I'm using right here is Control plus minus. Get into a habit of that. Help you come in faster, out faster. So let's use that magic wand. See that? Okay, hold on the shift, get those little edges. Press delete. Cool, look at that. Its name, blimp. And remember guys, what we covered in the layers. You see blimp here, seagull here. You could drag it behind the seagull if you wanted to. Move it. Okay, I'm gonna resize it. Resize it. Okay. The more layers you put, the more depth you give this whole design. Let's put this behind the 3D. See that? Put that back there. All right. That is the magic wand tool, guys. Okay. Use that all the time. Crop tool, don't really use that because we're not really cropping anything. Brush tool, huge. Brush tool is very huge. Let's turn off the seagull here. Well, actually, let's leave the seagull. I'll show you what the brush tool does. So let's go over the brush tool. Every time you click on one of these tools, you'll see up here changes. Okay, you can change different features of the tool. So the brush tool does exactly what it does, what it says it does. It's like an airbrush. Okay, you can change the size and the hardness of the brush. To change the size of the brush, you go here and you literally just click and drag whatever size you want. Keyboard shortcut for the size, okay, is right underneath the plus and minus, right next to the enter, they're brackets. The right bracket makes it bigger, left bracket makes it smaller, okay? Let's create a layer for this brush test. And we'll name it brush test 1. Brush test shadow. Let's do a shadow. This is the first thing I'm going to show you, okay? And we're going to do the shadow on the seagull. How do we do that? How do we add a shadow to that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold out Control, or you're going to be holding out Apple. And what you do is you're going to go to the seagull section, and right where the image is at, you're going to hold that button down, and you're going to see that little selection dancing ants icon come about. Once you see that, you click on it, and it automatically selects what you want to work on. Okay? Same thing with 3D. Let's do it with 3D. See that? It just outlines whatever you want to work out perfectly. The blimp, same thing. Why is that relevant right now? Well, we'll start with the seagull and we'll work our way back. So we're going to select this, right? So what Photoshop does is select this automatically. We want to create a layer on top of this. The layer on top of this will have the effects of whatever we want to put on it, like the brush. So let's create that. Brush, seagull, shadow. Okay. I know I created one back here. We trashed that one. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in. Okay, I'll hold down the, move this over. You can move this over through here. And we're going to start adding some shadow on the tail and underneath here just to give the seagull some depth. Okay, brush tool. As you can see, you have an opacity here. If it's 100, bring it down. You should be default at 100. You want to bring it down a little bit under 50. Opacity about 39. Same thing. Okay. And let's just do a brush stroke here. Okay, that's orange. We don't want orange. Control Z. We want black because we're adding a shadow, obviously, right? You could do so many colors. You could do white. You could add all types of colors and hues. This is black. So you see I'm coloring this in. Okay, it's adding that brush. I want it to be a little bit more powerful. Let's bring the opacity and the flow. See that? Just hitting the edge. And it's adding that cool effect. Okay. Make this brush smaller. Use your bracket. Just press on the keyboard, bracket. And you can get in detail in these little corners. You can even zoom in and get really, really close. If you're working on some detailed projects, maybe some touch-ups. Okay. Maybe that's too dark. Bring the opacity down. No right or wrong here. Okay. See that? And maybe some over here. Kind of give it that realism. See that? Beautiful. Okay. You can even change the color of this and add some highlights. Give it white. Maybe right here is too dark. We want to add some white from the sun. And blow this up. See that? Line it up. Okay. And all those changes, all those brushes are on this layer. You can turn it on and off. You see it before and after. And I'll leave that there for you guys so you can see. Remember, if I deselect it, you can actually move this layer. Okay, and now I'm going to go over how you can group these layers real quick. Hold down Control key, and you have two layers. There's a little link here. Link layers. Once I press that, these two layers are linked. If you want to unlink them, just unclick them. So what happens is all these effects go to the move tool, they move together. Very, very important. Write that down, link tool. Okay. If I unlink it and I just move a seagull, look what happens. The effects stay there. Then it's going to be tough for you to line things up. We don't want that. So we Control Z, we move back to the space, or we use the history tool to go back. Hold down Control or Apple. Link it, and they're together. Okay. That right there is the brush tool. Cool. So moving on. The next tool that we have here is the clone stamp tool. Very, very cool tool. I use it a lot. Okay. Use it a lot. It says what it does. Clone tool. So we want to clone this bird. We go down to the lake layer. And what we're going to do, whatever section that we want to clone, we hold down the Alt key. Okay. Look up keyboard shortcuts for your Mac. Okay. How you know is you get this little crosshairs. So it's going to sample that. You could actually make the sample bigger by, once again, using the same keyboard shortcuts, which is the brackets. And it goes bigger or small. I like to start off small because if it's too big, it starts grabbing other stuff. So sample, and wherever you move, you could start. You click once, click a little bit. It's going to grab that. You see that? So I just cloned that. Just clone that bird. Okay. For instance, Let's double up this lake, make a copy of it, we turn it off. I want this out of here. Let's say I want this out of here. How do I do that? How do I fix that? Clone tool. Okay, let's go to the lake layer. We're going to clone the water now. Totally opposite. Instead of cloning something that we want to take something out. Okay, but we always want to stay in line with whatever you want it to look like. So this part will probably be too light. So you want to sample from up here and then color here. So click, sample. And once again, the opacity is very important up here. You got to play with that. And it's sampling. You see that? And now we can remove that. Sometimes you get people to say, oh, I want to remove something, or you get an image that has something that you don't want in it, just like right now. I'll show you the before and after of that. Clone tool, my friends. Very, very powerful tool. Let's grab something off the internet. Let me just download a person's face so I can show you how to clean stuff up. Maybe a mole or whatever the case may be. Let's see. Face. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. So let's grab her, right? Copy. And we'll paste this. Let's resize. Moving fast because you guys should already be practicing. Okay, let's put this as a face. Let's drag this to the top. Okay, we'll zoom in. Okay, this is what I usually use it as well for too, if you guys are cleaning up photos and so forth. Clone tool, very important. Okay, so now let's make a copy of the face. Once again, copy, turn it off, we'll go back to the original. Beautiful. So we want to start removing some of this stuff. Okay, you don't want to clone the actual blemish because it'll clone it. You want to clone the area that's clean, like this. Okay, make sure the brush is small. Let's clone that, and then we start cleaning. Okay, clone here. It's kind of too powerful. Clone here. You got the eye. Clone here. Double click. Clone tool. Very good for all different types of things. Cleaning up photos, retouching, you name it. You get paid some serious money just doing this. It's tedious. I mean, it's fun for me, honestly. We got one on the nose here, so we clone up here. See that? And you click once you see that. That's what you want. Boom. See that? So we'll just kind of just move through this quickly. Okay, if you're always wondering how these models look perfect, this is what they do. Exactly what they do. Click on what you want to sample, move it over, a couple of clicks here. Okay. But you guys practice. Within these, I have the original copies, so you guys can make an extra copy and do the same thing that I'm doing here. All right. Make sure you make copies of everything. All right. Beautiful. We got a little bit right here. Right here. So that's pretty cool. That's not too bad. She doesn't have too many blemishes now, not like before. You know, if you were doing a magazine, if You had a friend that asked you to clean a picture up, whatever the case may be. This is the tool to do it, clone tool. Save it. Let's zoom out. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, we could work this, you know. Okay, I'm doing this just for show. Okay. Before, after. Before, after. Okay. Let's do one more. I'm looking for a boat in water. Let me get clean up real quick. Let's see. Oh, let's just do this hat. Oh, let me see. This is perfect. You want to take that out. Okay. Copy the image. All right. I'm going to take that out. Let's copy it. And so, boat in water. Let's copy it. Turn off the copy. Go to the boat. Clone tool. Click the area you want to clone. The sample area. And start painting. Start cloning. Little random clicks. You could clone another area here just so it just doesn't, it looks different. See that? Beautiful. That was easy. Okay, same thing with here. You want to keep it that light area, so. Okay. Before and after. Just zoom out. Beautiful. Clone tool. Cool. So we got that. Now the erase tool. Pretty clean cut. Okay. Let's make a copy of the 3D and show you what the erase tool does. Okay. Erase tool says what it does. Different opacities, once again, different sizes. Change the size here. And once again, get into the habit of keyboard shortcuts, which is the same as the brush tool, same. All these brush tools and erase tool and clone tools, bracket right under the plus and minus will make it large and small. Okay. So like, let's say we want to erase this just as so. And just click on it. See that? This is the easy way. Let's say we want it behind the mountain to get those type of effects. Just start, blending it into the background. So look how cool that effect is from a simple tool. All right. Want to make another copy of it. Pull it behind. Make it smaller. Let's say we bring it up here. This is what I want you guys to do. Let's just mess around. Okay, the seagull, move it over here. Okay, let's say we want that behind there. Here's the easy way to do it, the way that I do it. So go to this and then make the opacity so I could see the actual background so I know when I want to erase. Let's say we want this on an angle. Okay. Right. So we know we want to just erase this little area. We'll bring the opacity even lower so then we know what we want to erase. So go to erase tool. Let's make this tool a little bit smaller so we get detail. See that? Now we're going to just erase that little edge. Top of the mountain. Okay. We're going to erase that. And this is how we get those cool layering effects, and it looks real. Looks real. Bring back up the opacity and look at that. That looks cool. See that? Erase tool, my friends. Erase tool works on every layer here. Remember we did the brush on the seagull? Remember we did that? Let's zoom in. Okay, we could actually erase portions of this shadow. Okay, let's go back to the brush tool. Let's say we did too much. Let's say we did too much. This is why I want you guys to understand there's no right or wrong on here. Let's say we added a lot of shadow. That was just crazy. We went nuts. Oh, remember, select seagull, so it's only affecting the seagull. Let's say we went nuts, man. That's too much shadow, man. It's too much. Put too much on the feet and all that, man. Okay, so check this out. Erase tool. See that? We could go back. Go back. I actually use this and get more in depth on the design. Bring down the opacity, and you can actually get more artistic with it. See, more cool blends. Okay. Let's go back to the brush tool. See, I can toggle between both of these. See, let's say I overlap his back a little bit, and we don't want that. Let's just go. We're trying to do his wing here, and I overlap his back, right? That doesn't look good, so we're going to the erase tool. Just erase it. But now we got the spot that we wanted to hit. Make it smaller and hit those nice edges. Look at that. Beautiful. Play with it. Play with it. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. Let me get that beak. Let me get this little edge right here. Get the leg. Okay, get this little spot here. Okay, it's just erasing those components in that layer. Save, save, save. Okay. Deselect this. Select. Learn your keyboard shortcuts. All right, beautiful. This is looking pretty amazing. See, it's got that little piece there. We still got to erase. That just caught my eye. So how do I get there? Control. Click on the 3D. Goes right to it. It's a copy. Let's erase that little component there. Go up. See that? If it's erasing too slow, bring back the opacity. There we go. See, it's overlapping there. Let's erase that. Look how cool that looks. All right. And play with it. Let's say we want to add a little highlight to the top. All we got to do is hold down once again, Control or Apple, right? Create that extra layer. Now we do a 3D highlight, right? Let's add a little something on top here. Go back to the brush tool, right? Let's change the color to white and just give it some light brushes. See that? Make this side brighter because this side is obviously, lighter. Let's say by mistake, oops, erase tool. Okay, erase tool. Okay, look at that. Simple enough. Okay, these are the tools I use every day. Bring that opacity and go back and forth. Yeah, maybe something here. A little highlight there. Maybe it's too much of a highlight. And then we'll erase it. Play with it. Don't be afraid. That's how I learned. So deselect it. Look at that. It's pretty cool. You have a lot of fun with it. The sky's the limit with this, but you can't be afraid. Okay. Erase tool, we've done that. Now the good old paint bucket. Pretty simple. Let's create a new layer. Let's do the shape. I've shown you this before. It's pretty simple. We'll create a shape here. Create a circle. Okay. And all the paint tool does is basically circle shape. Right? You can color it. Use your swatches to color. or you could pick and choose your own color. Okay. You want to sample other colors. You say, I really like this blue. Simple. This has an eyedropper tool already built in. You got to hold down the Alt key on PC, refer to your keyboard shortcuts for Mac, and every time I click on it, it shows the previous color. See that? I want yellow. Boom. Okay, and it changes it here. Let's say I want that cool teal color. No problem. Once you let it go, color it. I don't like that. I want the purple. Color it. I want this yellow on the beak. Or orange. Tan. It's there. This is good to use when you're matching colors and you want kind of the same color range on stuff. Okay? And you get to sample with the eyedropper tool. Very, very important. All right? Deselect it. You got your circle. You can turn it on and off. Move tool. Move it around. Drag it above layers. It's still, check that out. That's pretty cool. So that's between the shadow and the seagulls. So that's pretty cool. That's a cool effect. That's the first time. No, we'll leave it there. So next tool up, text tool. We'll get into detail with that. Pretty simple. I'm going to get into that in the module 7, but it's you click, your cursor comes up, you write. You want to change any aspect in here. This is the size, 40. Spacing is here. You can go to 0, or you could put 500. Really up to you. I'll get to more detail with that. But as you can see, wherever you want to create a new text layer, new text, it'll create its own layer and its own text. You want to change the color? Simple. Change the color. Sample other colors. Everything is done there. Double click. Not here. Here. Okay. You could even use swatches. Okay. Resize just like anything else. Control T. Transform. Don't know what the transform tool is? Under Edit, Free Transform. You can rotate. Undo is Control Z or Apple Z. Boom. You want to copy it, hold down Alt, Shift, drag. Okay. Refer to your manual if you want to, if you need keyboard shortcuts for Mac. Moving along. Don't really use none of these shapes. This one I use sometimes. The zoom tool, we don't need that because we have the navigation tool in our keyboard shortcuts, which is Control plus minus in your space bar. Hold on space bar. Okay. Foreground color. I only really use that. And that's about it, guys. I don't use masks. A lot of people use masks. I do not use masks. I never really needed to. That's another thing that's just like information overkill. And we'll get into that later. I mean, I really don't use any masks. Some people use them. They swear by it, but I don't need to. So tools explained. Hope you guys, this is a huge section of, this is the meat and potatoes of the entire boot camp. And I need you guys, I'm including this in the package, so get in there, copy stuff, recreate, and just play with it. The only way you're gonna gain knowledge is to be able to take this stuff for a ride.